Well, how'd you do with the eclipse? Wow, I'll tell you what, I felt it in a place where my body seems to be picking up on energies both from the sun and from the sky, right there in my heart. I sure did. All day yesterday I felt it. I am giving myself some personal liberty this week. We have a beautiful, gorgeous week of weather here in North Carolina. And I am taking advantage of it in the afternoons when I get a little bit of free time. I'm going out for a hike every day this week because by, I believe it's Saturday, the forecast is brrr, so I'm going to get it in while I can. So if you don't mind, I'm taking a little bit of PTO. Isn't that what they call personal time? Personal time off. Yeah, that's it. So that's what I'm doing. All right, let's talk about what's going on right now. I wanted to delay doing this episode until I got up and checked out what was going on after the election results, and it's kind of maybe as I expected anyway, that we don't have a decision yet, and it looks like it's not going to be the decision that the mainstream was advocating before the election. Did you remember to set the place for Uranus at the table? I've had two big, major Uranian incidences in my life since Saturday. One Saturday, one Monday. Big, wow, surprises. And that's our first aspect du jour. 3:26 a.m., the sun directly opposed Uranus at 16 degrees 55 minutes. That energy was building all through the weekend and was what the election was based on. And other things going on around the world. I'm just not saying that this is just the United States. I mean, you take the collective of everything going on around the planet. We are talking about a world right now where you, me, the collective, the sun, that's the individual being discussed, is in a shake-up, surprise-it kind of mode. You and I can handle that energy by simply deciding. The old band, if you remember, in the 1980s, REO Speedwagon, that was my kind of music when I was a disc jockey back then. Roll with the changes. You ought to find it on YouTube, put it on and turn it up, because that's the way that we adjust. We roll with the changes. Now we get to see how the collective responds to all of this. And remember, Mars is still in Gemini, retrograde. Would respond be a reword? I think it would. Gemini be a divided sign too? We'll see. Moon today moves out of Taurus. Speaking of Gemini, knock, knock. That happens at 8:36 this morning, about the time that all the news pundits have had their second cup of coffee. Let's look ahead, because some of these upcoming aspects the next couple of days that we are in the applying energy will be building. You're going to hear Saturn a couple of times. First, tomorrow morning, early, Mercury squares Saturn. Mercury squaring Saturn, communication, the ruler of Gemini, where Mars is retrograde, squaring structure. Looks like another challenge kind of built in there to me. And then Venus, and I've got to find some time here. We're going to talk about the Venus star point, which has moved from earth signs now to air in Libra. I'll get to that. Don't worry about screwing the pieces of that together just yet. But now, see, Venus in Scorpio has this overlay of air, Libra's air in this star point, that's going to change things. And this outcome of this election has that tint to it. Well, that trines Neptune tomorrow. These are both early morning aspects, so it's good we're talking about them now. So Venus trines Neptune. Then on Friday, that Scorpio sun squares Saturn again. There we go. And one other to lay the groundwork here, if you're watching the markets, particularly this one, Venus in Scorpio sextiles Pluto early Sunday morning. You know, I think Ray Merriman, if you've been keeping up with us on Saturdays, has said that we're not out of the woods yet, but we're getting closer. That's depictive of the rest of the energy this week. So Saturn showed up twice there, and remember, it was at the bending or the T-square to this eclipse. So Saturn's sun on Friday, for example, I went back and pulled some notes from A book by Bill Meridian, another one of the very famous financial astrologers, talked about aspects from Saturn, which is a very collective thing. One of the most bearish is Saturn-Sun aspects. Another is an eclipse to Saturn, or the angles, which we had square on. Collectively, Saturn represents challenges. Individually, Saturn represents challenges until you've done the work. And then Saturn represents longevity, represents good structure. You could say good bones. You know, he or she has good bones. That's Saturn when you've done the work. When you're following your chart and you lean into these aspects of your chart, Saturn rewards you with what I would describe as those Capricornian characteristics, just the stick with it. You're going to make it. You keep after it. You are good at what you do, and you roll with the tides, the ups and the downs. You have that Saturnian base that keeps you in the game 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, that kind of thing. So what's the energy today? Well, keep in mind, you hold a coin in your hand. Are you looking at the heads side of the coin or the tails side? How are you doing the work? Are you consumed by the shadow, or are you living to the positive, to the upside? That's all your choice. Now, if you have been struggling with these aspects, I just want to remind you again, I mentioned this the other day. We have 3 readers on our website at funastrology.com, and we have Robert Glasscock over on Old Soul, New Soul. A little bit longer wait over there, but we have 3 ladies on our site, getting ready to add one more. For you younger folks, Liz Grace Christie, who was on the podcast a while back talking about Ophiuchus, is doing readings now, and we're going to add her to the list as well. So if you'd like to peruse that list, they are available there for you. Pick the one that calls to you. That's the right reader. You say, who should I? Gosh, they're great options. Who should I pick? Well, pick the one that sings your song. Other thing I'd like to mention is if you don't have Christmas plans with a family, we'd love to have you up here with ours. We are putting a little trip together, and we're getting some interest. So if you would like to come to the Carolinas for this Christmas, go to the top of the funastrology.com website, click the red bar, and you'll get more information. Hope to hear from you if you're interested. We don't want you to be alone this Christmas, all right? We're going to do some cool stuff if you'd like to join us. Have a great rest of the day. We'll be back tomorrow. Got some listener questions in the queue, so we'll try to work through those over the next several days. Thank you, guys. Sending you all kinds of love. Have a wonderful day.